Hey, data scientists, data engineers, people who are just interested in data, maybe you want to get into the field in the coming decade, in the 2020s. I'm Will. Welcome to my channel. In this video, what I'm going to do is count down the top 5 big trends that I see for the next year and the next decade. So stick around and let's count them down. All right, so just to get started, this channel is about data science, data engineering. We might dive into some other topics coming up, but basically I work with a lot of data on this channel. I usually use Python. So if you're interested in that, I also dabble in Rust. I also dabble in game development. Please subscribe and let me know what you think of the videos. Okay, number 5 is first principles, getting back to first principles, solid foundational understanding of data science and essential statistical distributions, foundational knowledge, mathematics, and not these deep learning models that are not very applicable in many business settings. So here I have on Reddit from past couple days, a majority of data scientists lack competency in advanced machine learning areas and techniques. And this was a survey done, and basically I think the top answers and the consensus here is that deep learning is useful in a handful of scenarios, and it's rarely used in most business contexts. Many businesses will need data scientists and data engineers, but not to do deep learning and not to do the fancy modeling. They need more of the groundwork, let's say the data engineering, and basic statistical analysis, t-tests, experiment running. This is what businesses will need in the coming decade, and only in a few circumstances will businesses will be turning to the advanced machine learning techniques. So if you're going to focus on something in the next decade or very recently, I would recommend getting yourself up to date on foundational knowledge. Okay, number 4 is what I'm calling deepfakes will plague society, and we won't know what to do with them. So these are deepfakes, which are essentially taking clips of real humans doing something and then running them through a model and manipulating them so that you can have that person in a video very convincingly say and do whatever you want. And this is already becoming just very well commoditized, so that anybody will be able to create one of these deepfakes. They won't need to know anything about deep learning to do it. And so you could see that internet companies are already ramping up to fight those. And on this New York Times article, there's just one. These top pictures are real individuals, and the bottoms are deepfakes, very convincingly generated. The problem with this is that you can ruin people's reputations, careers. You could blackmail individuals. There's not much good that I could see coming out of deepfakes, perhaps in the movie industry or in other entertainment industries. But deepfakes, I think, will be mostly used for ill purposes. And so having society deal with that will become a central issue in the next decade. Essentially, if you see somebody that you know do something in a video, and you watch them do it, even if you know it's a deepfake, it's hard to get that cognitive dissonance to say that's not actually them. They didn't do that. And then the truth, basically, you can no longer believe what your eyes see. It becomes really problematic for society, and where the foundation of what we know in society comes under question. And so I see this as a major societal issue in the next decade. So if you're going to do anything actionable with this, you might want to help some of these internet companies fight the onslaught that is coming in deepfakes. Okay, number 3 would be the cloud wars have begun. And so this is with data becoming ever more present, a lot of analyses and websites are moving to the cloud. And so AWS, Azure, Google, are all going to be competing in the next decade for share of the cloud. And we'll see who's going to be winning. Right now, it seems very clear that AWS is. So this report that I pulled up says this market will grow by 27.5%, almost $40 billion, nearly $80 billion. So that's doubling by 2022. So these companies will be looking for individuals who are cloud proficient. So this is a very growth-oriented market. If you can get into learning AWS or Azure or Google's cloud, then you will certainly have a leg up in this fight. So right now, this is from McAfee. So AWS has the majority of the share of cloud services, but followed quickly by Azure, and then Google is coming up after them. So I think any of these companies, it's hard to tell who's going to be the winner here. I feel like most of the internet right now is run by AWS. So becoming proficient in cloud management, DevOps, is going to become and remain and become even more of a hot commodity. So that's number 3. Okay, number two. Number 2 is data engineering becomes the new sexy job of the 21st century. So this is a blog post from Vicky Boykiss, who's a data scientist in Philadelphia. She runs a newsletter that I highly recommend. But in this article, Data Science is Different Now, she very convincingly makes the case that data engineers are what we need, are what businesses will need she doesn't put a time frame on it, but I would say in the next decade, and that there's a glut of new data scientists, basically people who are going through boot camps, learning to build a model, maybe not necessarily understanding the core foundational mathematics thinking behind it, but able to apply a model to some cleaned data, and that isn't applicable to what businesses need right now. So she makes the case, and I very much agree, that data engineers are the individuals that the job title that will become the sexiest job in the 21st century, supplanting data science. She has here she cites this tweet that's now from a while ago, but this shows the introductory data science course at Caltech. It's so popular that it fills out all of these halls. So data engineers will become the skill set around cleaning and moving data will remain evergreen, will grow over time. So if you are deciding between data science, data engineering, I think there are many more job opportunities there will be for data engineers than for data scientists. Or if you could become a data scientist, you will need the skill sets of a data engineer. Okay, I think I got some of these out of order, but basically this is number 1, which I believe is the upcoming trend for the next year and for the 2020s, is that Python dominates the landscape for data science and data engineering. We already know this. TensorFlow, PyTorch, these popular deep learning libraries, and then Spark and other data engineering platforms, Airflow, will allow you to use Python and will allow you to plug in with Python. And so the growth there is just tremendous. What I'm looking at right now is the TOB index, which is a reflection of popularity of programming languages. You have Java and C up top here, but Python with the top growth. And I just see it growing and ballooning from there as data science and data engineering mature. You have all of these candidates, all of these individuals, professionals working in Python. I just don't see anything else supplanting it. And so my recommendation to you, if you are a upcoming data scientist or data engineer, is to learn your Python. And you can do that here on this channel, some of my other videos in Fluent Python. But basically, Python will be the language to know in the 2020s for data science. And number 0 is data everywhere. So basically, data will continue to proliferate. We have so many new kinds of data sources that you could use. You can continue to scrape the web, Twitter. There's Google data sets where you can grab data. You have all of these individuals who are blogging. This is fredwilsonavc.com. I highly recommend this blog, not necessarily for data science or data engineering, but for thoughtful musings of a VC in New York City. And he has this fantastic blog post about what will happen in the 2020s. I don't think behind everything that Fred goes over essentially is data backing it. So running through Fred's thoughts, one is the climate crisis, of course, automation, China emerging as a dominant global superpower, crypto, decentralized internet, plant-based diets, commercialization of space, mass surveillance, moving from baby boomers to the next generation, and genetics. So I think all of these essentially have a data component behind them. There are massive data sets, and so data will continue to proliferate. People who are skilled in using, manipulating, moving data around will be in very high demand. So this is a very good time, even if you're older, and this is the first video you're watching about data science and data engineering, you can get into it. It may take you a year or two of diligent practice, but you too can work in the data field and work your way up from, let's say, even data entry to data scientist, if that's what you want to do. So let me know what you think about these trends. So going back to first principles, deepfakes plaguing society, the cloud wars beginning and continuing in earnest, data engineering becoming the new sexiest job of the 21st century, led by Python as the de facto programming language for data science and data engineering, and then data everywhere, proliferating all over the internet, in every space that you can imagine. So if you think I'm totally off the mark, let me know. I appreciate you liking and subscribing these videos, and check back on this channel. I usually release on Monday, Fridays, and so one of my New Year's resolutions is to stick to that. So thanks for watching, and I will talk to you in the new year. Happy New Year, folks.